Again, thank you so much for joining us right here on Idaho Today. You know, every Wednesday on Idaho Today, we are sharing episodes of Mom Matters. It's a segment focused on giving moms a voice. And ironically enough, the topic of today's discussion is, are moms being heard? Here's what the panel had to say. And welcome to Mom Matters, created by Moms for Moms, a safe and non-judgmental space for moms' voices to be heard. I'm joined by Genevieve Nutting, creator of the Womanist Community and mom of a bouncing baby boy. We have Krista Bell, life coach, former counselor, and mother and grandmother. Natalie Allen, assistant news director here at KTVB and mother of 4. Shannon McGuire, creator of Supreme Moms and mother and grandmother. Now, ladies, today we're going to be talking about a topic that comes from a Gallup poll that Shannon, through Supreme Moms, you funded a Gallup poll that was focused specifically on Idaho moms. We've been using the preliminary information from that Gallup poll to fuel the conversations here on Mom Matters. It goes public, though, the weekend of Mother's Day. And we've talked about a number of topics. We've talked about, do moms need a community, which was last week. The week before that, moms are burnt out. Today we're talking about moms need to be heard. What's your first thought when you hear that?
Are they listening?
Yes.
So I think there's a notion of being heard, that are they speaking up? Are you talking? Are you sharing? Yes, but are folks listening? Are we really heard? For me, it's, can you repeat back what I just said in a way that we both agree to? And are moms really being heard? I think partially. And I'll add that I feel like when moms are being heard, it's a negative slant. It's this negative slant of the motherhood penalty and the burden and all the things. But what about the other side? What about the good side, and where we do feel uplifted? So the paradox of motherhood is real, but are people listening? That's what I come back to.
Yeah, and I think of not just being heard, but being understood. I think that's what it is making sure that, you know, somebody else who maybe doesn't have your same life upbringing, doesn't have 4 kids, hears you, understands, and empathizes with you. I think that that's what I long for in a community of moms, and a community of working moms especially, just understanding.
That's interesting, being heard, but actually being understood. That's one thing that I really love to do in my coaching, is listen and really hear and validate and be able to say, hey, you're okay, and it's okay, and it's going to be okay. But there is that hesitancy sometimes to share, because what if this is so off the wall, or is it too personal, or are they gonna, take a step back, and that rejection factor that comes into play sometimes. So there is definitely a lens in which people see us as moms, and the value in that job that we have. I've had more than one instance, because I have chosen to stay home for most of my raising of my kids, that people don't know what to talk to me about. Like, I don't have a brain, or I don't have an education, or I don't have interests outside of that mom title. And so I think that is a hesitancy for people to actually hear us too, because they already have that lens in which they see me. Oh, you're just a mom.
And just a mom.
Thanks. I don't get paid a lot, but I love my grandkids, and that's the payment enough right there.
We'll talk more about the payment in the next episode. Okay.
Gosh, I feel like I just keep seeing myself. You were speaking to me, and I think there's that knowing of self and what you need. We talked about that, expressing our needs, having a space though where you can express that. Like, do you have your communities? Kind of going off of what we already talked about. Do you have your communities where you feel comfortable expressing yourself? Are you giving yourself time to identify what you need, so you know how to communicate? Because there is that, okay, do I know what my needs are? Do I have a safe space to express it? Are people listening to me? And then, is that being implemented?
When it comes to being heard, for each of you, because all of our journey is different, right? What's the thing that really sticks you, that you're like, I just really wish that they'd pay attention to them? Like, what do you feel you're not being heard?
I think at work. I mean, as much as I love. Okay, I will preface this by saying I'm being vulnerable and I'm being transparent. I love working at KTVB.
Clearly, you've
I
been
love
here for
my
a long
job.
time.
I've
Yes.
been doing this for a long time, but I think people, because I'm such an independent person, because I'm such a go-getter and a career boss mom, as people like to call me, sometimes they forget that mom part. And so I get calls sometimes, you know, can you do this? And I'm like, I'm actually changing a diaper right now. I don't know if I can.
Creating a boundary.
And then I'll do it in 2 minutes. Okay, I'll do it in 2 minutes. I'm rushing to change a diaper and then going straight to the next thing at my home time, during my home time, you know. And so, and it's hard because you enjoy doing what you're doing. So that speaks to, I do love what I'm doing. But also my family does need me as well. So I think that I show up at work, and then sometimes that could affect my home life because I'm showing so much.
I think through the years, I have learned to listen to myself and to say directly, I need to be heard and I need you to listen. And in that regards, that's helped a lot in being able to communicate clearly with people. And so just straight up, right in the beginning, hey, I really need you to hear this clearly, or this is really important to me, or this is heavy on my heart, and being able to share that vulnerability of my heart with somebody else and making it known that this is a vulnerable spot and I need to be heard, I think helps a lot.
I think I am a good communicator as to when I need to be heard, and I do believe when I can clearly communicate, I am heard. I think the hardest part I'm struggling with, and I think you already said, like, you listen to yourself, and as a coach, I'm constantly giving resources, giving guidance, and I think it's pretty good guidance, but am I listening to it?
Yeah.
And I think it's just, I know, oftentimes I'm like, wait, what did I tell you?
Conundrum.
What did I tell you? I need to listen to it. But I had a friend recently tell me, because I had a lot of I'm in this space of navigating, like, who am I outside of being a mom? Like, I'm not just a mom, but I'm more than a mom, and what are my needs? And she said, you need to slow down. Like, you need to slow down and you need time to think about, like, what do you want? And so I think right now my work is in listening to me, but giving myself space to really know what I need, so that when I do tell someone, I can clearly communicate, this is where I need you to step in and help me. I need to lean on you.
As always, thank you so much for being vulnerable and showing up. Yes, all of you. And make sure you all at home stick around for next Wednesday, because we'll be talking about moms need more work options. Yes, that's going to be a hot topic. All right, we'll see you next week.